Hi everyone, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel, Spiritual Daosith. I'm Daosith LeMay. I hope you all doing great out there, you beautiful brothers and sisters, soul fam. We're back for another June 2024 energy update. And for those of you who are new, this is where I share the numerology, the astrology, and what I think are some major energetic themes that may be playing out for you and the collective this month. Before we go any further, please go out, check out my book, Becoming the Creator, A Practical Guide to Spirituality and Connection. I think for a lot of you who are on your spiritual journey or starting your spiritual journey and your spiritual awakening process, you can get a lot of information, help via my guides, my life experiences, and how I discovered pieces of me, recollecting my power, and finding joy and peace in my life by understanding that I am one with Source and I am creating my life. All right? You can go find more information about that on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, or go to my website and you can find more information about that. For those of you who are new, welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. Hopefully this resonates with you. The vibration resonates with you. And if this is what you feel is good with you and you feel like you found your vibe, please subscribe and be part of this tribe. You can find more information about my other social media platforms in the description box below. So before I go any further, you know I always share the news from last month that I think is worth mentioning. That were kind of in alignment with the things I was talking about with regards to the energy, the numerology, and astrology. May is and continues to be an unbelievable month in terms of what has been transpiring collectively across the board. We have major riots occurring across the college campuses. Hopefully many of you aren't being hijacked by the separation agenda, but there's certainly a lot more rioting, self-empowerment type of energy that I've been talking about that's rippling across the planet right now, and that will continue to pick up as we go along. Earthquake shifts in terms of the planet, as well as weather phenomenon. Talked about that. That's going to continue to be picked up. I think one recently was in LA, about 4.5 on the Richter scale. A lot of things happening on the political landscape, such as banning rhetoric or language around anti-Semitism, especially with the idea that it could potentially ban the Bible. We had that come through. The trials in the prosecution of Trump, and how a lot of those cases are starting to crumble and waver in terms of the Trump trials. Huge solar storms, huge solar winds, and coronal mass ejections that caused us to see lots of different beautiful colors with relating to the aurora borealis, both on the northern hemisphere as well as the southern hemisphere. How about the financial piece of this? Roaring Kitty and the meme stocks, as well as crypto, is really starting to really pick up again. On the other flip side of this, how about the Cubans and how their banking system has completely collapsed? We had certain Slovakia prime minister who was recently shot. The Pelican Bridge being brought down by another boat. The silver and gold prices skyrocketing. There was a bill that was proposed to abolish the Fed. The Iranian president dying in a helicopter crash. Google wiping out the Australian pension and all their funds, and their backup records being completely deleted. And also Klaus Schwab from the WEF stepping down. And then lastly, recently, Taiwan and China potentially being in war, and China surrounding the island and taking over. So things are happening. Things are occurring. It is transpiring and changing and shifting along the collective world stage. So if you think there's nothing happening, there's definitely things happening. So for this month, same energy, same type of potency and power going through. It's going to be a very intense month as well. The numerology around this month is around the number 6. Typically, this is around harmonizing. This is about harmony. It's about consciousness and trying to find answers, usually dealing with family, social responsibility, service, love, counseling, and healing, okay? The yearly numerology is around the 8. We've talked about this the past 5 months and as well. This is usually about manifesting, creating power, authority, finance, reward. I said a lot of the social structures that we're dealing with around government and especially around finances are under pressure this month. So the combination of these two numbers breaks down to a 5. We just went through a 5-month. I ran through the news. How crazy was that news? So we have an undercurrent of another 5 this month, and you saw a lot of this energy is going to be weaving through this month as well. So more changes, more shifts to heal us, to harmonize us, to make things better, especially our energies around the 8 and our social structures, the governmental structures, and especially around the financial world. So I expect things to be just as intense, but perhaps a slight lessening up as you find yourself and as well as the collective starts to find a little bit of shifting and healing, right? Trying to find answers and to harmonize a bit. So change is something we're going to have to get used to. We are going to have to get used to that, but especially with the collective structures as we go forward. So what is the astrology, the events that are going to happen that will aid the numerology? On June 3rd, we have Mercury enters Gemini. This is where we have an active mind, inspiration starts to pick up, you start to pursue your short-term plans, you're keeping yourself busy, and you're going to be engaged and curious, right? Usually that means a bit of shifting. You're going to be following things, your passions, you're going to get things done, and you're going to have this inspiration coming in to help you move through this month. On 6/6, okay, Gemini new moon. I talk about the lunar cycles. New moons are a great time to set your intentions. Full moons are there to help you manifest what you've been holding on to over that lunar cycle. The Gemini new moon, new opportunity to take action on short-term plans, right? Getting exciting about things on the short term and working quickly through those things, okay? So if you had plans, short-term plans that you've been thinking about, you want to achieve them, great time to set that intention to do that and to get things done and to utilize that energy. On 6/9, Mars enters Taurus. The energy is going to slow down a little bit, so this will allow you to take time to initiate new things, really help you look through that, help you move and to filter out some of that energy, and then this will help you also see things through from the start rather than just starting something and not ever getting anything done. All right. On June 17th, Mercury and Venus enters Cancer. This is going to be a shift into the emotions and into the home life and into your relationship. So you're going to want to express yourself. You're going to want to show your emotions. You're going to highlight your emotions, especially with your relationships, right? Your relationships are going to reflect the emotional connections, solid emotional connections that you have. And if it reflects the opposite, that means there's something that needs to be looked at from the emotional standpoint. But also a lot of this is going to be reflected in the home life, right? Around your relationship, around your home life, because Sun enters Cancer on the 20th of June. Cancer season. Like myself, right? A lot of home life around family, around emotions are going to be highlighted, feeling secure, feeling safe, feeling appreciated, right? That's a lot of that's going to be highlighted around this time frame, which is going to happen at the same time, summer solstice on the 20th, the day with the most light. Then from there, the days get shorter. But here it is, the peak of this light, as well as we're being bombarded with this high frequency, the coronal mass ejection, this quantum rainbow crystalline light that we're receiving, upgrading our body as well. So we're seeing a lot of that occur. You're seeing coronal mass ejections. You're seeing the auras come so much farther south. So this is all in synchronicity to what is transpiring to upgrade you, to bring consciousness to you, and to move you into another level of consciousness or ascension, if you will. All right. Then we have on the 21st, Capricorn full moon. So the results of the things that you've been putting into your intention, the short-term goals that you've been really wanting to work on, your things around your reputation, around work-related things are going to start to come to fruition, making progress and making strides, all right? And then what happens on the 29th, we get a little bit of a slowdown, a little bit of a consolidation. We have Saturn retrogrades in Pisces. This is going to limit your options coming up for the next months as you go through this time frame, especially as you work through releasing things, and it's going to target a lot of karmic and emotional baggage for you. So that end of the month is going to be very potent as your home life, as your relationships, as your emotions, and in your family dynamics get brought up with regards to this retrograde, and you're going to see some potent mirrors reflecting this energy. So it's going to force you to do things, and that's going to play into a lot of the major themes, or the 4 major themes I'm going to be talking about in a second. Drink water. Obviously, I also drink water, and I also enjoy my cup of coffee here. Little rocket mode. This is what I usually drink out of when I want my investments to go to the sky. Okay, so major themes coming in for many of you and the collective. All right, the first one is dreamers also need doers. All right, you can't get things done if you are always dreaming. And then if you're always doing things and you're not dreaming, you're going to be stuck kind of like focusing on the trees versus the forest, and you're not going to have a sense of direction of where you're going. So dreamers, in this case, many of us are going to be in the dreaming kind of stage. We need to be doing things as well. You need doers to accomplish things. So this month can be filled with creative and emotional energy. And that means you can be easily daydreaming and caught up in that sensation and that joy of visualizing and being in that space ungrounded and just being daydreaming and thinking and visualizing what could be, right? Especially with the manifesting energy, you can be it's easy to get stuck up here, right? It's easy to be stuck up here dreaming and all those kind of things, but that's only half the equation. We need the other half of the equation to get things done, right? We need to be able to take some action. So this month is bringing balance to that, to have you align both your dreams and the physical manifestation of things together. And it's going to be beneficial for you. It's going to be extremely beneficial. So, but if you're too much in the ether, you're too much in the dream state, then you need to ask yourself these questions. Are you being too sensitive right now, and you're using your daydreaming to unground yourself and not be practical in your everyday life, right? In another way of you looking at this is, are you daydreaming to avoid a conflict? Are you daydreaming and out here in this creative space, detached from the reality of the world because you don't want to face the reality of a conflict and having to practically deal with life? All right? Where are you avoiding reality? Okay, if you're too much of a dreamer, you're too much up in this ether and disconnected, perhaps it's to ask yourself, and you feel good in that space, and that's where you like to be, you need to ask yourself, am I avoiding something in my reality? Am I avoiding a conflict? Am I avoiding something that really needs to be dealt with for me to move on in life? Okay? On the other side of this too is that if you find yourself having wild emotional swings too, and you're daydreaming, and then maybe when you come back into reality in dealing with life, and you're having all these wild emotional swings too, that could be a signal saying that you are not dealing with the conflict. You are not dealing with what is in your reality as true, and you need to deal with that. Your emotional continence, the way you react, the way you have wild swings, is all an indication of an imbalance or stuck energy or something that you aren't willing to face. And it's this month, this energy is asking you to stop the dreaming and disconnecting and avoiding, and to come back into earth and to deal with these things, to look at them and to deal with the practicalities of life so that you can move on from this energy and move forward. Stop avoiding the things that need to be dealt with, all right? Of course, if you're in the positive alignment with this, right, things that feel good, you'll have the balance of both the dreaming and the doing, and you should see manifestations of that in your reality as you go forward. For the opposite, you're going to have all this struggle, this resistance, both emotionally, you're going to be detached, you're not going to be grounded. It's going to be very difficult, and it's going to show up this month, because the other part of this energy, which is the next theme that comes into play, is around letting go of things that need to let go of. But part of this dreaming and doing thing, before I go into this next energy, the Gemini energy is really highlighting this, right? The Gemini energy is coming in. It's going to highlight this idea of needing to be curious and to want to dream and to be in your headspace and detach. But it's also going to help you engage into those short-term plans to help you execute them as well. So use this energy, be grounded in a sense, balance in that, so that you can be between your head and your heart, your right and your left, between dreaming and doing, so that you can move forward in a better balance. Also, the summer solstice is going to help you as well. It's going to bring more light to what needs to come up, that needs to be worked on as well. So follow through with these things, pay attention, and have awareness, especially if you're on the dreaming side, you're avoiding, you're having emotional wild swings, etc. It's going to be really important to you, because the theme that's coming up now, and the second theme, is around like letting things go that need to be let go, right? Putting to an end, a closure of the things that no longer serve you. This is exactly in alignment with kind of like the classic avoidance piece. You cannot avoid these things anymore. It needs to be put to rest. It needs to close out. It needs to be, rather, in a sense, go through the death cycle, all right? So where are you not letting go? Where are you holding on to things that don't serve you anymore, right? You can't change if you aren't willing to let things go that need to be let go of, all right? Again, the energies are saying it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to let go. So whether it's a relationship, it's a belief, it's a habit, it's a grudge, it's asking for you to make a new choice out of the old pattern and to move forward in a new way. But the old stuff needs to close, right? Major theme, especially around the end of the month with the retrograde, karmic baggage, emotional densities that need to be released. You'll feel it. You'll sense it, especially with regards to the home life, especially with regards to your relationships, and as well as the full moon in Capricorn. Your work and all these things are going to be highlighted, asking for you to shift, asking for you to change things in the better alignment for your highest good going forward. But it's going to highlight the things that need to change, that need to be put to rest, that need to be let go of. It's going to be turbulent for a lot of you. It's going to be turbulent. It's going to be chaotic, but that's your signal, everyone. That's your signal that things need to change, and you need to face the things that you need to face. Stop disconnecting. Stop avoiding the things and avoiding what you need to feel, right? That's where the wild emotional swings are going to happen. If this is you, there is going to be major death cycles that's going to happen for you this month. This is in huge alignment with the numerology too, with the 5 and the 6, right? Things need to change. The undercurrent of the 5, the numerology, the 6, it's going to do you a big favor. It may not feel like it, but it's going to do you a big favor to shift things, to force you to end things, right? And it's going to manifest, especially around the social structures I had talked about. That's going to highlight a lot of things I talked about. All right. Also, I also believe collectively, not only on an individual standpoint, but collectively this means a few things. Unfortunately, I think the death in human life is going to be highlighted, right? The death in the sense of life in the collective in people. We're going to see a lot more deaths pick up this month, near the end of the month as well. But as we go forward, it's going to highlight, I feel like, whether it be with war or maybe even with sports in relating to medical things as well. But death also to social structures as well. Perhaps not in a catastrophe, in a kind of the biblical ending of things, but more in like a slow collapse. Like a slow collapse. I feel like it's not as slow, but it's not going to be that way that we see it as the apocalypse, but it's definitely a collapsing of a sense that's happening with our social structures. If you look at it, if you just take a step back and look at the social structures, like Hollywood or whatever pedo would, the financial systems, the political systems, you see the old energy just fading. It's not getting the same kind of runway that it used to get, right? It's not benefiting those that are in those powers as much anymore. I mean, you saw it with P. Diddy and Epstein and all these different things coming out of the woodworks. Even the Boeing airplanes, like these structures that we're seeing are collapsing. We're seeing more light being brought, more truth, and that's causing a lot of things to shift and our awareness to shift and asking us to make a different change, but certainly seeing real evidence of change. You don't have to look very far, and you can see our reality shifting and changing, and a lot of those old energies are collapsing and going through a death process. So that's happening collectively. You're seeing it on it, and you're going to see a little bit more on an individual basis being highlighted based on the things I talked about. All right. The next energy plays hand in hand with the last two energies I was just talking about. This is about choice and action in alignment with the previous energies. Feeling stuck is what the energy I feel like. Feeling stuck in your reality. Well, and it's happening, because of you, right? Because of you. You are sitting on the fence. You think there's a right and there's a wrong. You think that there's a good and a bad. And a lot of that astrology I was just talking about is pointing to this, right? The Gemini energy, needing to take an action, right? Working through things as things shift around. And a lot of us don't like change. You got to get used to change. You got to go with the flow. And you're not going to do it because you're stuck in your mind. You're stuck between your heart and your mind. You don't know what's the right choice. And I think the energies this month, the numerology, the astrology, is going to give you inspiration to make those moves, right? To slow things down so you can work through those decisions. But making that decision is needed. Making that decision and following through with that is going to be key to move you through a different timeline, to move you into that different space that you're looking for, right? That's the reason why you feel stuck, is because you believe you are stuck. You're not willing to make those changes. So you got to work through that energy. So I talk in my book, I give practical exercises in my book, especially in chapter 7, with regards to helping you work through these things, right? The first exercise is to feel what's right for you. You know what feels good for you, right? You'll know what feels good for you. And one of the exercises I talk about is say your name. Say your name. Like, my name is Daosith LeMay, right? And when I say that, it feels true to me. It feels good both in my spirit, in my body, in my energy, right? It is calm. It feels right. It is truthful, right? Now, if I were to say my name is Bilbo Baggins, it doesn't work. You can tell. I start to laugh. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't sit right with my energy. Do the same exercise. Do the same thing for yourself, and you can expand that to other aspects of your life, right? This is especially true for those of you sitting on the fence, don't know which way to move. You're stuck. You feel stuck. Just learn to use this exercise to help you trust yourself, to help you use your intuition, right? Get out of your head and start following your heart, following the divine feminine energies that aren't based in logic. It's based on your intuition and your spirit and what is right for you. The other thing you can do is, if you're watching this video, ask for a sign. And be specific about what you want for a sign, right? Ask for your sign. Spirit will give you a sign. It will give you a sign saying this is the right thing or this is the wrong thing. And sometimes having no sign is a sign too that tells you, maybe that I'm not giving you a sign, tells you this isn't the right thing for you, okay? Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Ask your guides. Look for a sign. This will help you move in that decision. You don't need to make huge leaps here, folks. You just need to make small steps towards that. Just something more than just sitting on the fence, daydreaming, avoiding the practicalities of reality because you don't want to deal with conflict and deal with the tough choices, right? That's what's going to happen. That's going to keep you feeling stuck because you're dreaming about something else, but your reality isn't that because you aren't willing to face it. All right? This needs to be done. The universe is literally waiting for you to make a move on this, all right? And then once you make that move, the floodgates, I feel like it's literally a floodgate, will open up and you'll start to see different things shift around in reality, especially around the home, around your relationships, the karmic, baggage, emotional things that your relationships reflect to you. All right? There will be no movement until you make a decision and go. Whether it be about a job, whether it be about career, whether it be about a relationship or moving, like physically moving around, there will be no change. You will remain in a perpetual hanging state of disconnect until you decide to make a choice, or you believe otherwise. You believe that you are you believe that you're making a choice and you can go forward with that, right? You're no longer in a waiting position. You're no longer waiting for something. I'm thinking about the old book, Dr. Seuss's, Oh, the Places You'll Go, right? There's this page or this section of the book talking about the waiting space, right? Waiting for the fish to bite, waiting for their chance, waiting for a call, etc. That's not what it's asking you to do. It's not asking you to wait. It's asking you to make a choice and to make that small choice and that small step to get you out of the waiting space so that the universe can start bringing those things. Stop being in your head all the time and get down to earth and make those practical decisions to get you out of that waiting space, all right? This is in alignment with the 5 and the 6, in alignment with the 8. The change, the shift, the harmonizing. Make manifesting steps to have them occur in your reality, okay? The 5 and the 6 are forcing you to do it. The numerology and the astrology are trying to get you to move, all right? The last energy in alignment with the other 3 energies we're talking about is this idea of trusting your intuition, trusting yourself, trusting your gut, trusting your heart. It also perhaps means that if you're looking for advice, you may want to seek out a motherly figure to assist you on this, to follow someone perhaps like your mother or a confidant in a sister or a friend, or especially it seems like on the female side, to get some insight, to help you work through these things, to have someone who can be a container. Usually women are usually better at that. Those in the divine feminine are better able to hold a container for you to work through things in compassion and unbiased and love so that you can work through these and make a decision, right? But for yourself, start trusting yourself. Start trusting what's in your heart. Start trusting what's in your body, your emotions, following your gut, okay? This also means that this month we may see a kick up in your psychic gifts as well. So the sun activity, the energy, the vibrations that are coming in are really upgrading you, are moving your consciousness, and the psychic gifts are just part of that. It's going to kick you up from visions, feeling what other people feel. Maybe you get precog, maybe you get clairvoyance, clairaudience, etc. That's part of this upgrading as we become more in tune with oneness, we reconnect with source, and there's less to be hidden from each other. All right, that is going to be, if this is happening to you, trust it, go with it, trust yourself, trust who you are, trust your intuition. And it's also, as you go through this, it's going to be important that you be mature in your emotions and not let them get the best of you, right? That's in the relationship to the first energy, right? Don't disconnect and be in the dream world, not facing your emotions. You got to be mature about these things, and being mature in your emotions, not overreacting, not disconnecting, being with those energies, or especially when you're under pressure, with your home close-knit life, right? Around your relationships, around work, around your family responsibilities. Be mature. That's going to help you tap into your psychic gifts a lot better. That's going to help you trust your intuition and your gut and your heart a lot more. Especially highlighted around the Mercury and Venus entering into Cancer. All of that, right? You're going to want to communicate your relationships, your emotional connections, your solid emotional connections are going to be highlighted around home, around safety, around family, around emotion. This is all going to be highlighted with regards to the astrology and the numerology. So I hope that helps you. I know it's a lot to throw at you, but as all things, we are going through this together. We are all finding our way home to Source. And although each one of you are going through your own specific spiritual journey, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are doing it alone. We're all doing it as well. So if you need someone to be a sounding board, you have questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. I love you. We'll talk to you soon, and take care.